Out what happens here in our second semifinal. Alien Corey, take it away.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you, Monty and Tannen, Corey Baumeister, Ailey Loney. We are super pumped to get into this second semifinals and find Nathan Stoyer an opponent.
Yeah.
Corey, if you're sitting in Nathan's seat, who do you think he would like to be facing?
You know, he kind of told us a little bit ago, it's hard to not go for your teammate to have that, even if it's slightly a worse matchup. So I think Nathan wants to play against a teammate, even if the matchup might be a little bit better against Rui.
Sure. Excellent weekends thus far for both players. You know, Chris kind of feels like he's been just flying by the seat of his pants the entire time. You know, that's just how he plays Magic. Always has a good time, even when he's losing, and just doesn't take it, you know, it doesn't bother him if he loses. I want to say he doesn't take it seriously. Of course he takes it seriously. But it doesn't get to him, which is such a great talent to have.
It's a new Chris, to be honest. Like, I have been on a testing team with him for a long time, way back in the day, back in around 2018, and he did kind of wear his emotions a little bit more on his sleeve. If he had a bad result or two, it would affect him, but he's definitely playing with a more relaxed aspect these days, and especially at this Pro Tour, and it seems to be suiting him very, very well.
I mean, yeah, just what he said yesterday in one of his winter interviews is like, life is good, you know, he's a family man, he's got 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife, like, everything's good, and like, that resonated with me too, you know, I'm sure you can agree as well, you know, we've both become parents over our journey through Magic, and it just kind of shifts things for you, so it's great that he's still able to find the time, take that time from his family to be able to play here.
Absolutely.
Surak hits the board here for our Great Dane, Chris Larsen, and we see abandoned attachments in the yard. There's going to be a combustion technique to take care of Surak, but not before Chris gets a card.
Yep, one of the better plays to start with against Izzet, and maybe just one of the best cards that Chris has access to, especially with a very slow start here. You know, you really want to have that creature stick around, but a second one makes that really awesome. And now that is just creating a bunch of 2-for-1s, forcing Zhang to deal with that. And then after it is dealt with, now you got these extra cards, and you can start deploying those as well.
2 firebending lessons and 2 almost ancestral recalls for Rui Zhang. So this hurts, having to use 2 spells to get rid of this guy, but 2 cards drawn off of him.
Yeah, that is brutal. It was a 2-for-1 with the combustion technique. Now it is a solid 2-for-4. I mean, wow, we're drawing so many cards here.
Surak certainly put in the work. I've never been too high on the card, but in this situation, it looks like the best card in Chris's deck.
Makes it a lot better that Chris did have to discard one, so it's, you know, not as much card advantage from Surak. And Rui Zhang did get the ability to Ancestral Recall there with the Accumulate Wisdom.
Yes, so upside there for Rui, able to get those cards back that were used to get rid of the pesky critter. Speaking of pesky critters, here comes Grand discounts online, and now Ray gets to just find as many cards off the top of the library as they'd like. Yeah,
you can tell just the pace of play that Zhang is playing. Really happy to be out of that quarterfinals against Zevin, where they slowed down a lot, but this matchup, they know inside and out, and you can definitely tell by their pace of play.
Yeah, much more comfortable, at least against, you know, Landfall as an archetype. Selesnya Landfall might have a couple of little extra wrinkles in there.
Yeah, still plays out basically the same, and that is one difference for the Selesnya Landfall decks. Normally, against other versions of Izzet, the Spelementals version, stuff like that, the erodes are going to be excellent. Being able to erode Eddie Merc before a Sunderflock can get that tax reduction. Or that cost reduction, excuse me. But in this scenario, you really don't want to erode a turn 1 Grand and ramp Zhang at all. So your erodes are not that good. So 2 games where Christoffer has to leave those in is less than ideal.
I'll find a
Diadrene Synthesis Amalgam hits the board here now after a decent turn there for Ray. Getting a couple extra cards and a discard off of 3 steps ahead. So certainly just trying to get that engine online, find those monuments, and start doming Chris for 3.
Yep, absolutely. Diadrene, some nice little tech that this team has come up with. It's looked pretty solid. Definitely just solid.
Yeah,
you know, we haven't seen it do anything too crazy, but there's been times when it could get some value, remove some counters, get a little card advantage to find yourself some bigger spells.
I feel like in a meta where there's not a whole bunch of removal being played, this card would be absolutely fantastic. But, you know, it doesn't survive very often. If you get some value, if it gets to attack, like that's already tick in the box. Okay, cool, you did your job.
And we might see it here. Looks like the senior discount is online from Grand. So here is the tech that Rui had in this version of Lessons, the only player to play Consult the Star Charts.
Yeah.
And it's looked great.
Consult
I gotta
is
say,
such a
every
good
time
card,
it's
man.
looked awesome.
Everyone, I know you and I argued about it, but, you know, Stock Up is better, Consult Star. I love Consult Star Charts. I think it's an amazing card, and I think more people should be playing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even right here, Consult for 3 mana, got to look at 6 cards instead, and at instant speed, so upgrade to Stock Up for sure.
The only thing Stock Up has over Consult the Star Charts is it got Dominic Mayer art.
Okay.
That's
Both art is fantastic, that's for sure.
Yeah. Here we go, Monument time.
So Monument had what looks like an Iroh's demonstration.
Nice.
To be able to deal with this, you get the loot, and here we go, the trifecta from the Lessons deck. Artist Talent, Monument, plus Grand. Really advantaged here.
Yeah.
To Zhang.
This is a great start here for Rui Zhang. You know, championing the Is It Lessons archetype after it fell out of favor. But, you know, Prowess decks didn't have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Lessons, however.
Not really at all. So all the decks that came to beat the Prowess decks, they did it.
Yeah.
Similar to what we saw at the last Pro Tour.
For sure.
With taking down the Rhythm decks. So really awesome to see that Standard still has so much depth to it.
You got to think with, 16 sets? If it's not deep, there might be a problem.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, usually when you get that many sets, there are these certain decks that are just way too powerful, but we are getting this rotation still with that many sets in, and that's just really awesome to watch.
Might form Harmonizer. Bushwhack.
Ooh, is there a spell to counter it? There's a plethora of them. It looks like it will quench you.
You know what? That's all right.
So now a counter spell plus a draw card, which is excellent. And huge advantage to Rui Zhang here.
19, yeah.
2 cards in hand for Chris, and I'm just going to say library in hand for Rui Zhang.
Yeah.
It always feels like that up against this Lessons deck. The rate at which it can churn through the top of the library is insane.
Definitely. So it looks like another Monument, 3 steps ahead, and a land. So no way to deal with the Harmonizer straight away to push through, but not the biggest deal. Now we can level up, and we have the very powerful 1-mana Monument here.
I love when you can get a free Monument, you know?
Yeah. Doesn't happen often, but... And this is just Rui Zhang just firing on all cylinders here.
Absolutely.
Making this matchup look really good. I mean, this matchup is very close. Lessons is supposed to struggle a little bit from landfall, but Rui Zhang's version especially, I think very much evens it out. And I think Christoffer's version of landfall is worse against Lessons. So I think it evens out even more so. About as close to a 50-50 as it gets.
So this semifinals can certainly go any which way. 2 incredible players here. Just an incredible top 8 overall. I mean, look at the top 4 that we had. Rui Zhang, Chris Larsen, Matt Nass, Nathan Stoyer.
Just absolutely all incredible players. Multiple Pro Tour winners. Tons of top 8 between all of them. And Christoffer trying to do what, well, not many people, very few people have ever done. Tried to win back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just chatting about it earlier. It's like, has anyone ever back-to-back won a Pro Tour?
It's just Kai.
Kai
and
has done
it. It was a team event and an individual. So there's that little, you know,
a slight
caveat
wrinkle,
Exactly. And then Nathan got very close.
Yeah.
Won Worlds, top 8 at a
by
Pro
Reed
Tour.
Duke.
And then won the one after. So not many people have gotten very close to doing such a feat here.
Let's start with
Grand getting thrown to the wolves here.
So you got to think that there is something to deal with this Harmonizer.
I'm in 6th. You can just go.
The classic Magic Online terminology there.
F6.
I'm F6.
Yep. Pass priority. Stop at end step.
Exactly. And with this attack, you gotta think Rui has a combustion technique here, but even if you are just getting rid of a Gran to draw, discard, and then draw 2 cards, that's still good
Gran's done her
enough.
job.
Yeah, she really
It's
has.
time for the young whippersnappers to get the job done.
Yep. And looks like there is a firebending lesson, which I'm sure costs just 1 here. Does not cost much.
Spending 3 mana.
Right, does cost 3.
Oh, yeah, 3
Deal with the
to
harmonizer.
kick it, yeah.
Trigger.
Good gravy.
And this game, if you haven't figured this out at home,
It's a little over.
it's over. Absolutely.
Trigger.
Rui Zhang putting on a clinic here for game number 1. And, you know, Chris did have the play here. Or no, Rui Zhang did have the
Rui
play.
had the play.
But Chris's draw was just very slow. Only going Sirac. You really can't do that when you're on the draw up against Is it Lessons in general or such a fantastic player as a Rui.
It's like, yeah, okay, I won't make you go through all the motions. Let's just go to game 2 here. Game 2, pre-sideboarded. Just a reminder for everyone, this is best 3 out of 5. So what is the ideal opening hand here for Chris Larsen?
Definitely starting with the Llanowar Elf, getting into something like an Earthbender Ascension. That's really what you want to be doing with this deck, going 1 to 3. But yeah, just another escape tunnel pass. Less than ideal. But I did see a Sirac at least.
Yeah.
That is one of the best cards. And, you know.
I'm so surprised to see that Plains.
Yeah.
Knowing that he plays double green cards in the deck.
Exactly. Yeah, leading to believe that there is a white card in hand, which I did see in a road, but Badger Mole Cub coming down, which is excellent.
I think Badger Mole's going to get a little dead here, if I were to guess.
Very likely, you're right.
Yep. Iris Demonstration, killing the Cub.
And now a plethora of options, it looks like. I see Earthbender Ascension or...
Nice.
Or Sirac, but looks like no third land. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But that was a horrific turn for Chris.
Yeah.
But that just shows how bad a road is. So I would imagine Chris takes all those out next game.
Yeah, I would imagine so too. You know, they're great in the Spelementals list.
Yeah.
You know, in the Prowess decks. Up against Is It Lessons though, where what's killing you is an artifact and you don't have much interaction for it.
Yeah, looking at the rest of the metagame, they seem pretty much amazing against everything but Lessons and, like, I guess Jeskai control, but we didn't see that deck do very well. So less than ideal for sure.
Sirac once again bites the dust.
And Sirac is just always going to perish when it comes to removal spells for the first 2 games, but once we get to the post-board games, there's 3 Snakeskin Veils that I bet are coming in. And if you ever cast a removal spell on a Sirac, they draw a card and then Snakeskin Veil it, I mean, it's over.
It's so good.
It's over.
It's like letting someone pay the ward before you counter their spell.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, it is devastating.
Gran hits the board here now for Rui Zhang.
And I saw Accumulate Wisdom in hand, but with only 2 lessons in the board, looking to get 1 more. And 2 lands as well as what looked like a Boomerang Basics. So not able to turn on the Accumulate Wisdom straight away.
Okay. This resolving, though, is pretty good for Chris Larsen. Earthbender Ascension, getting the lands going here. Now, what can he cobble together?
Yeah, Rui would have loved to have just like a firebending lesson or anything to cast so that you could go end step Ancestral Recall as well with that cost reduction. But that looks like Monument off the top, which you can never really be too sad about.
1 more lesson in the yard, gives the discount from Gran. So let's see where we go. Oh, interesting.
Wow, that is interesting.
Wow. Rui Zhang looking to dig through a couple more cards and then replay Gran and then...
Yeah, bounce it, replay Gran and then Accumulate Wisdom is online.
Sure.
And I guess it makes sense. It's a lot worse than just bouncing an Earthbender Ascension. So pretty solid there. But that definitely worked out very well for Christoffer.
Yeah, it's probably the one part in this matchup that Erode will look decent.
Yeah, you don't want to erode Gran on 1 because you don't want to ramp your Lessons player. But on turn 5, when they're about to draw a card as well, you're like, I guess I'll cast it now on Gran. No other good targets.
Accumulate Wisdom, draws 3 cards. Ray's got a hand stacked full of goods. What's happening on Chris Larsen's
That
side?
was an Ice Till Explorer off the top, so hard to not start with that one.
Ice Till. Let's go.
Yeah, that is excellent. 4 lands coming out.
Yeah, and we start, trampling now.
Looks like we did miss the mill there, but yes, minor thing there, of course.
Bushwhack in the yard. 2 lands able to be played off Ice Till Explorer. And next turn, if we can Mindform Harmonizer, this is going to be backbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like Rui Zhang just has, lands and monuments.
Nothing else in hand?
Nothing else in hand, it looks like. And yeah, I mean, at this point, Rui Zhang is 15-1. So far, the only loss was to Nathan on Celestial Landfall, 6-0 limited. So,
jeez, what a player.
And even that match, honestly, probably should have went to Rui Zhang. Rui got a little unlucky at that spot here. So
I think Nathan certainly used his one time. For that top deck.
So this has definitely been their tournament to win.
Right, doing the math here now. Figuring out, okay, can I survive? I'm at 16.
Okay. Oof. Yeah,
Consult.
Kicked Consult here with no real cost reduction here. You basically need a combustion technique to deal with Ice Till Explorer immediately.
Yeah.
And then you kind of need more than that, and I don't see those being the option. That looked like Firebending Lesson, which is horrific here. And I think maybe it'll quench you. Yeah, this should be GG here with Ice Till.
Well, let's see. Come on, Chris, you got a Mindform Harmonizer?
I thought we did. Oh, it's like it might be GG even without a harmonizer because you're gonna get 6 you're gonna get 6 landfall triggers. So that is 6 +1/+1 counters from the first ascension, and it'll be 2 from the other one, or 3 from the other one. So 9, 10, 11. 15, 16, 17. Looks like 17 to me. With just the Earthbender Ascension, so. And we can have plenty more where that came from. But, of course, you want to make sure to do this right here, Christopher.
Take your time. These are untimed games. Here comes Earthbender Ascension, number 2.
Yep.
And an escape tunnel as well for another landfall trigger. And 2 lands to be played off of the Ice Till. Don't forget your mill.
Yep, mill coming here after we get a land in play. 8 on the battlefield, about to be 9 from the first ascension. And then 4 more land drops, plus the escape tunnel being sacked. So technically 5 more land drops should clean this game up.
Hang on, Ice Till's not that good. Landfall triggers, not land drops.
Yes. That is very true.
Yep. Quick count here. Chris Larsen going through the motions, making sure he sequences everything correctly. Oh, cool. Okay. And he's got the Hydra.
I think a Hydra and another Earthbender Ascension. So it is
Zelda.
well over lethal here.
Hang on, he was giving someone crap earlier for having mismatched cards.
I believe he was. Yes, yes.
Please get on that after this.
I'll let him know. Yep.
Thanks. Mossborn Hydra hits the board here.
Yeah, he was giving Max a little grief. So stacking the triggers there.
Yet another land. Technically, you don't really need to keep track past 4, but I appreciate that he is.
Yeah. Adding counters, still fun.
Yeah. Dice number go up. Here comes Escape Tunnel yet again, courtesy of...
I feel like there's a lot of Earthbender Ascension triggers. I mean, these two are probably communicating it clear at the table, but there should be a bunch of Earthbender Ascension triggers on the stack as well, presumably targeting Ice Till. There we go, okay.
Whee! Look at the size of that Hydra. The one up in the main deck. Wants to get in on some of the action here.
And we'll see what kind of comeback you can have here.
I think we're going to go into our sideboarded games with both players.
I would think so as well.
Yeah. But never count right out. We've seen that plenty times this weekend. Kicking things off here with abandoned attachments, discards a mountain. And here we go with our mode selections on these 2 monuments.
Let's see what we can do here. Feels like this is just far too much to come back from.
Yeah.
Not enough ways to destroy these creatures, and you need a lot of ways to bounce the Hydra and stuff like that.
I see Boomerang Basics in hand there, so that's one thing that can be bounced at least, but still 2 threats on the board, nothing to block with or interact. So we get to go to game 3.
Yep.
Into sideboards.
Absolutely. Okay, so looking at the sideboards, Rui Zhang, going into game 3, took out a Monument, Spell Pierce, Abandoned Attachment, and a Boomerang Basics for 3 Flash Freeze and a Broadside Barrage. Christoffer, on the other hand, took out Icetail Explorer, 1 Icetail Explorer, 2 Badger Mole Cubs, 1 Might Form Harmonizer, 1 Hydra, 1 Earthbender Ascension, 3 Erodes, and brought in Sirach, 1 Sheltered by Ghost, the Kutzel, 3 Rest in Peace, and 3 Snakeskin Veils. I was also talking to Chris before this match and said, all right, 3 different teammates told me how to sideboard. I'm just going to go in the middle of all of them.
There you go.
I was like, okay, Christopher.
How did you sideboard, Chris? Yes.
yes, I did.
Nice start here, having taken out, what, half of the Badger Mole Cubs? 1 still showed up to play there, so great start for Chris Larsen. Llanowar Elves into Cub.
Much better start for Chris and a solid start from Rui Zhang. Still hasn't had the best possible start that they can have, the Grand into the Artist Talent.
Into Monument, that's just like the bee's knees, Broadside Barrage discarded there, and the Llanowar Elves taken care of, courtesy of Firebending Lesson. And
now has the ability to Flash Freeze basically whatever Chris is going to play so that Rui Zhang can discard that mountain, draw another card, and then ideally get a couple more lessons in the yard for that Accumulate Wisdom in hand.
Yeah, that'll definitely be the start of some excellent turns for Rui Zhang. Representing Team Sanctum of All. Up against Chris Larsen, representing Team Cosmos.
Yep, absolutely. I believe that is Rest in Peace.
Yes, I think so. Oh yeah, look, he's sad. That's a Peter Parker one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not seen that one before, but and yeah, now Accumulate Wisdom completely shut down, and Rest in Peace being able to juke the Flash Freeze there.
Yeah.
So Spell Snare still could have dealt with it, but that is kind of the problem with some of the counter spells that come out of the sideboard of these Lessons decks. There is no just 2-mana counter spell. They're all conditional in some way.
It'll quench you. Wouldn't have sorted that out. Yeah, it would have.
Yeah, no, that would have been way better last turn. That would have been huge. Now, Rest in Peace, symmetrical effect, and as amazing it is in this matchup, it does still shut down a decent amount of stuff from Christoffer. So, not absolutely perfect here, as makes your Ice Tills a lot worse.
Yeah, you're kind of just milling into oblivion, but
exactly.
You still get double land drops if you're able to sequence them together from hand.
And just bossing Say.
Nice.
Getting the Fabled Passage busy. And that plan can really work. I mean, there's so many counter spells and stuff out of the Lessons deck that, like, you just say, all right, I know you're holding up counter magic, so I'm going to pay 3 mana to make my creature a 2/2 every turn until you start dealing with that, and then I'll start playing spells. It's the kind of distract you while you keep things going.
Look over here, look over here.
Exactly. And honestly, with Ray's hand, it might easily work, as there's really no action, but that looks like a monument off the top. That's going to be some nice action.
Lovely. All right, check that Steam Vents. Get to draw, discard, and every single spell from here on out is going to trigger these 2 very powerful permanents.
Yeah, and we'll see if Chris just wants to not play spells. If you play a spell, you allow Rui Zhang to counter it, and like, here is technically a spell, but it's about as bad as it gets right now. So we'll see if
on here, Chris. Chickaboo!
Yeah, there you go. We knew he was saying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that one resolved. Makes a lot of sense because if you just counter that and you play a harmonizer or something and that gets to resolve, it could just be GG. Now we'll see if Chris takes the conservative line of playing harmonizer or just, hey, I got another land ready to get going. I love this play. Just recognizing.
Why use your hand if you have stuff on board to do, huh?
Exactly. I mean, the clock is still pretty quick here. And what are we seeing for 4 mana? And just an activation of the land.
Okay, yeah, Agdakela, that can keep things moving as well.
Ah.
You know, these powerful lands from Avatar: The Lost Airbender.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah.
Looks like another land. So Chris doesn't have a lot of action, but, you know, I think the worst thing Chris can do contextually to what Rui Zhang has in hand is play a spell. I think just bossing say, if Christoffer has perfect information here, is what he would and what he should do.
Yeah, you know, big part of being a professional Magic player is putting yourself in your opponent's seat. Like, how would they sideboard?
Yeah.
How would I sideboard against me if I was playing their deck?
Yeah, wow, and look at this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage here.
Jeez.
Wow, gonna have to be a really strong turn here for Rui Zhang.
I don't think they have enough to deal with every single creature on the board even.
And with Chris still being at 20, it doesn't feel good. And yeah, there's another 3 steps ahead. That is great at being able to copy a monument. And there was an Iroh's demonstration, which is very interesting with the artist talent already leveled up. You can deal 3 to everything or deal 6 to something. But the Saz's Chocoble's a 6/7 right now, so you get to live through that.
Yeah, you know, that's the only real sweeper style effect that Rui has in the list. So a very tough spot to come back from here.
Yeah, let's see what the mode is. Since there wasn't a direct target, you got to think it is 3 damage to each creature.
Yeah.
Iroh's demonstration doing its best Slag Storm impression. And now that Chocobo is just even larger.
Yeah.
And I think that was Rui Zhang just saying, all right, I need to do this, deal with the lands, and then I need to find a way to bounce Saz's Chocobo and a Pithing Needle for bossing Say, and then I got it.
And
then we're ready to go.
That's a lot of ifs. It's good of a fight as they're putting up here. I don't think this is going to deal with the bossing Say. That's
It being at 2 against the bossing Say is just
that's rough.
Near impossible battle to fight. And Chris cast like 3 spells this game.
Yeah. I mean, he played that pretty much perfectly in this in his situation, you know, just recognizing, okay, you have your engine online. The more I play, I'm just feeding that and helping you get even more and more cards to stop what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to activate Bossing Say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty, game 4. Here we go. This is the semifinals. One of these players will go on to face Nathan Stoyer in the finals. It's going to be Rui Zhang. Is it going to be Chris Larsen? We could find out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be this game. A little bit of sideboard changing. Rui Zhang took out 1 It'll Quench. It's just like, Chris just doesn't play any spells like a counter. That's not great. Brought in a Quantum Riddler, and then Christoffer took out a Snakeskin Veil, brought in a Cub.
Very minor changes there. Chookaboo, chookaboo, bird.
Wow.
Whoa,
okay.
Look at all those dorks.
Very impressive. Let's see if there's any kind of sweeper, even an Iroh's demonstration to be able to clean up 2 Llanowars would be great, but looked like a lot of blue cards in hand for Rui Zhang.
Wowza.
Wow.
Look at all these little idiots.
Yeah, counter spells, amazing in this matchup. Flash Freeze is as close to a counter anything spell as it gets, but when your opponent just goes 1-drop into 3 1-drops on turn 2, your counter spells look a lot worse.
They absolutely do. And now these 2 little birdies.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing that's going to get Flash Freeze.
Yes, 100%.
Flash Frozen? Flash Freeze will be cost.
There we go.
Perhaps.
Nailed it.
Got it. There we go. So that'll take care of the Earthbender Ascension. Artist talent on board, allowing the draw and discard to try and find Rui some answers against this board.
More blue cards and Monument in hand so far. And just to pass back, this is very much a, all right, I'll counter something if I absolutely have to, but here is the MVP of the match so far, Bossing Say coming back. There's 9 damage. Gonna be a big hit, and now Rui Zhang is able to consult the star charts to be able to find some goods. But you gotta think, like, at this point, what can you get again?
You know, multiple bounces for the Chocobos, but wow, that is such a tough spot to be in.
Wow, this is Rui Zhang recognizing that they just can't kick this.
Yeah.
And what can I find? I need to find something right now, like a, God, even a combustion technique is only 3 damage for the Chocobos. I don't see a way out of this for them.
Yeah, and even killing the land in combat just transfers that damage that would be dealt onto the birds.
Yeah, that's about the worst thing you can do. Combustion technique doesn't kill the Sazas. Maybe the best.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be taking 6, 7, 8, 9, down to 5. Even like a Quantum Riddler next turn as just a great blocker isn't going to be enough. Because we think about what we're having to deal with on the battlefield here. Don't forget, there's just going to be another 2/2 coming in with haste from Bossing Say.
And you can see Rui doing the math now, trying to figure out, can I survive at all here? About to take a big hit from these creatures.
It looks like this is about to be a teammate finals here between Nathan and Christoffer Larsen.
Couldn't
Team
ride it up.
Cosmos doing pretty well this Pro Tour so far, it looks like.
Yeah. Goodness me. What a sweet deck, huh?
Yeah, it looked really good. Just that small change of splashing white for a road, which honestly, watching Nathan, watching Christoffer all weekend has just looked incredible.
Yeah, I mean, because that was the downside for the mono green decks, right? Is they didn't have any instant speed reaction. All they had was Melt Strider's resolve.
Yeah.
And at that point, you know, it's often too late.
And is this just a firebending lesson on a Llanowar elf?
Yeah. Shucks, that feels so bad.
God, big draw step. Another blue card. You can accumulate wisdom, which is the ancestral recall mode, and try to find something here. Let's see. Something like combustion tech, 2 combustion techniques plus another red source.
Yeah.
That would be excellent.
There you go, 3 cards drawn. Is it
2
there?
lands and a monument.
What?
There's 1 combustion technique though, so not over yet. As we can go combustion techniques on a Chocobo, loot away. And then, it's a Steam Vents too, so 2 damage is coming in. I think this is Christoffer Larsen.
Brutal.
Through to the finals of back-to-back Pro Tours.
Oh my goodness me. There it is. Chris Larsen picking up a victory here, making it into a second Pro Tour finals.
Now the real question is, will we see another Christoffer? I think you just asked, do you want a hug? No, I do not. Not everyone's a hugger.
Good on you for asking, Chris. My goodness me. Bravo to Rui Zhang. Absolutely stellar performance here this weekend.
Yeah. First person into the top 8, Rui Zhang, going in at X&1, you know, had an absolutely dominant Pro Tour, 6-0 limited, only lost to Celestia Landfall 1 time in round 8, and then picks up only the 2nd loss against the same deck. So phenomenal tournament for them, and you know, history could possibly be made with Christoffer and Nathan in the finals. What a
unbelievable. 2 Pro Tour winners, a potential, you know, back-to-back Pro Tour champion here. That has never happened in Magic's history, at least not on the individual Pro Tour level. So.
Or Nathan winning a 3rd Pro Tour, essentially Pro Tour in the world. So no matter what, history is going to be made in this next round for sure. Wow.
We're in for a treat, friends. Let's go and hear from Chris Larsen after his victory. Tannen's with him now.
Hey everybody, I'm here with finalist Chris Larsen, finaling his 2nd Pro Tour in a row. It still feels crazy to say that. Let's talk about this match, and I got a few other things to ask you about. That was a very different build of Is It Lessons that we've seen in the past, and you said that you got some interesting sideboard notes from some people?
I have some really good people working around me. I have Nathan Stoyer, one of the former world champion. I have Javier Dominguez, former world champion, both giving me advice on how to sideboard. And Nathan gave me like a good plan. Javier sent me another plan. I was kind of like, which plan's gonna follow? And as any good soldier, I went between them. So I took half and half, and I just combined them. And it worked out. Happy playing. The plan was essentially that rest in peace, lock down a lot of his deck. And then you like, if you could go heavy on the mana, beside having a good draw, like game 4, I went Choco Choco and just rided the chicken churn. I mean, and it was just, but game 3, I locked him out. I played slow. Never played my Harmonizer. He had us flash trees up from turn 3 or something. Just beat him with 2/2s. Just great players, and their both advice were highly recommended, and both of their advice was good, so I went half and half.
You can get worse advice from 2 players. Now, let's do a little history lesson. There's only 1 player ever that has won back-to-back Pro Tours, and it comes with a small asterisk. His name is Kai Buddha. He's a pretty good player. I don't know if you've heard of him. Pretty great player. He won a team Pro Tour and then immediately followed up by winning Pro Tour New Orleans individually. So no one has ever actually won 2 individual Pro Tours back-to-back. How does it feel to know that you have a pretty good shot of being the only person ever to do that, and it's going to put you in the pantheon of someone of Kai's status?
That's insane just to mention at all. It would be historic and unreasonable. But I think it's unreasonable that I'm here at all, and it feels surrealistic. It would be a lot if I go back-to-back win. I didn't expect to go top 8 last time. I definitely didn't expect to go to top 8 this time. So, I don't know, it would be, as you said, historical, and I would love it. But I'm happy just being here right now as well. I'll tell you that.
One last quick question. We know your opponent in the final. It is your teammate. How are you feeling about that?
That I am ecstatic about. There's nothing I wanted more than like sit down and play against Nathan for 2 reasons. One reason was I didn't want to play against Mad Decks for sure. And getting to sit down and play up front of the guy I beat out of top 8 in round 14 or round 15, even though I didn't come in and make it. I mean, like, what more can one ask for at this point? That is insane. I'm really happy that it's Nathan for multiple reasons.
Well, Chris, best of luck. I hope you get to make history, man. I'm really rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
A stellar finals to look forward to. We'll be back at the news desk after a short break. We'll see you soon.